My twin brother is Luke, and he has autism. It's hard to say when I first noticed that Luke was different from me, just because I think I've always known.
When they were born, Erin came out with her arms wide open and was like, "Hey world, I'm ready for you." And Luke was born and he was sort of curled up and just very quiet.
We had been vacationing when the kids were young. He was in a stroller and he took a look at the ocean and he turned and just bit his arm so hard he left teeth marks, and then I knew. And we hadn't a formal diagnosis, but I knew it was coming.
When Annie stopped working, never knowing if she'd be ever going back to work, at first it was, for me, an extraordinarily generous and courageous thing, but it also made me recognize that, life is different now, and we need to approach our family differently.
I feel that early intervention is probably the most important thing that we can do for children and their families. One of the best behavior plans is teaching kids to communicate better. So the sooner that we can start to do that, the quicker that can start to happen, and I think the more positive the relationships among family members start to become. I met Luke, I think it was my second year at Bancroft. He was 2.5 years old, and we started working with him at his home. A huge part of what we did was teaching him how to communicate. In the beginning, we used a lot of pictures, because for him it was easier to select a picture than it was to find the words and speak.
Once he was able to communicate with us, the self-injury resolved and did not reappear, and for that we're so grateful. The wonderful thing about Bancroft is that they didn't just help Luke. They helped me understand what it was that they were doing to help Luke so that I could continue this after hours.
Part of what we do is a treatment approach, so we are trying to affect change within the children, but also if we only affect change there, then we miss a very key component, which is really helping the families not only learn how to do some of the things we do, but also be able to replicate some of the changes that we produce in our work.
7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Have a seat.
I met Luke when he came into the high school program, and then was fortunate enough to also be working in the transition program as he moved into that program as well. When they moved to the transition program, they're taking those skills and starting there as kind of the jump-off point for sampling in a variety of jobs. So for Luke, that has meant he's taken some custodial maintenance skills and applied those in the community. Luke continues to strive for greater goals. And I just think that's who he is. What he enjoys and what he does, he gives his all to.
There was one moment we were on a break and we went outside and we were, just working, but in a little bit looser way. Luke was running toward his mom, and she had her arms out like this, and he was running toward her, and he said her name for the first time. He said, "Mommy," and that was really powerful, and it was a really good moment.
I think that the reason he is still able to be with us is because we have the support of the Bancroft organization, and we know that when the day comes that things are not able to be managed in the home anymore, we trust that there will be that safety net for us and for Erin. We are concerned about the future, but the thing that makes me a little less worried about the future is that Bancroft is going to be there for the long run.
The fact that Bancroft has such a well-developed quality system of residential options for adults with intellectual disabilities is extremely comforting to us.
I'm proud of all the things he's accomplished with his teachers at school. He's now in the high school at Bancroft, so to think he's come all the way from being a little kid sitting in our house playing with Connect 4 and playing with different picture cards and identifying things, to be able to be at a school, I think that's really awesome.
In the end, I think maybe it's brought us closer. Maybe it's made us a stronger family because you learn the importance of your children and your family.